Alright everyone, we are here with War 6 against KenOB. I will be taking Path 4 in Section 1 and Path 7 in Section 2, and I'm actually excited about this war because I get to bring Shang-Chi for Path 4. So I have Thing and I have Terrax on this path, and I knew Terrax was going to be pretty easy. Thing, I was worried about protection, and I just decided to go ahead and max boost at this point, just to see what happens. I figured what I could get by with was just focusing on combos and not using special attacks and just whittling him down. And there are two things about this that probably did not make it the best strategy. One, it's probably over boosted, and two, I have weakness on because of using Mr. Negative. So my damage might not out damage the healing. But my game plan here is to use the slow Wushu and then use the debuff cleanse Wushu and use them in that order before ever resetting or before using any of the other Wushus. So I'll use the stun Wushu sometimes. You'll see here, it's actually going pretty smooth. Seems like we're fine. But over time, Shang-Chi's crit increases. And you can see here right about at the 50% mark, his protection starts triggering like crazy, especially because I'm shrugging those debuffs, and this node gives me a fury when I shrug debuffs, which leads to falling into protection. One thing you will also see is that I'm not paying attention to his rock stacks just because of this long duration slow debuff. So, because I can parry the node, or stun the node, it's pretty easy to reset Wushu and therefore build chi charges. I decide to SP3 here because I'm realizing with how long this fight is taking that I'm probably going to just have to start throwing SP2s and take what damage I can get from them, even though protection will be triggered. Here I was not ready for that to be unblockable because again, I'm not paying attention to rock stacks. And I wasn't ready for him to throw it after an SP3. So again, you're seeing that rotation of me using the slow Wushu, the cleanse Wushu, then the stun Wushu, and then landing the heavy to reset. So here's an SP2. Now we've exhausted those charges. It didn't do as much damage as I would hope, so the protection definitely came into play, but we're at least pushing past this 50% mark, and we're at 3 minutes, so if we can be aggressive, and I decided here to just go ahead and keep throwing SP2 because my basic attacks are triggering protect. My hope was eventually I would whittle him down, and there we are, into assassin range, and I'd get a lucky crit off it. What kind of scared me here, and I think it happens right about here, the slow Wushu decides to not show up as a debuff in the fight right here. So you notice it's got a timer over there, but there's not a slow debuff, but it did say slow. And I'm gonna end up pushing him over 15 rock stacks here, and I'm not having to deal with unstoppable. It is showing up, but he's not unstoppable. It freaked me out. I was a little concerned. You're gonna see me reset after doing the slow Wushu a couple times because I keep thinking he's not slowed and I'm worried about rock stacks. So there are going to be times where I push him to 15 and I bait out like that just because I'm not really sure if he's got slow on him. I went back and looked at the video and saw it was saying slow. So even though it was a visual bug, down he goes with that SP2 40k crit. Even though it was a visual bug, it ended up working out. So things I would change there. Main thing is I probably won't boost. I'll gray boost, but not. If anything, I might light boost, like a 10% boost. Next is this Terrax here. So instead of doing slow first, I'm going to do the cleanse Wushu first. And I'm actually going to just do that one, stun, reset Wushu. That one, stun, reset Wushu until we get to SP2. And then I'm going to lay a couple more Wushus on and then just light him up. So I'm cleansing. I'm very worried about debuffs here. There were too many armor breaks to get rid of that heal block. But I'm worried about debuffs here because there is a node ability here that reduces my ability accuracy reduction based on how many debuffs I have. There's the stun, here's the unblockable, here's the SP2, and down he goes. So way easier than Thing and way worth it for bringing Shang-Chi. All right, next we're moving on to this Doom on Power Snack. This is pretty much Mr. Negative's node. If there's a Mystic here, it's his fight, whether Unfazed is here or not. I do test the waters of Unfazed, and if I don't get hit with it, then I keep evade countering. I did ask for a Mr. Fantastic pre-fight if there was already going to be one on the field, just so that when I do parry heavy him, we can reset it, and I never have to worry about his aura. So this is going to make the fight quicker. Instead of me baiting an SP1 and having to wait for that aura to fall before throwing my SP2, he's never going to have the aura. So I can bait SP1s reliably, knock him down to get that petrified back, and therefore use SP2 as soon as I get to it. Now, I have Shang-Chi on the team, so I'm going to earn some bonus degen debuffs from SP2. So I'm at 15, which means I should get 16, and it's only a 10% chance, but we got 17. Backup recovery, 3 petrifies on. He's not going to gain any power. I'm just going to punish him against the wall. These degens are just going to tick, 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 and down he goes. So super easy fight for Mr. Negative. All right, so moving right along to path 7 in section 2. I'm pretty much sent this way, and I'm the Mr. Negative player if Mojo's over there on 47, which he is. So anytime we've started a war and I've seen that, I've pretty much assumed that I'm going to be sent on a path this way. Which means we get to play around, if Modok is on the spite node, we get to play around with Modok like we have 2 wars in the past 5. This is probably going to be my cleaner Mojo fight, or Modok fight against Mr. Negative. And again, it's a very goofy fight because of the auto block. Sorry, I was making sure sound was on there. But it's a very safe fight because we can completely shut down spite if we need to. So when we bait specials, when we dodge specials from Modok, we can instantly turn spite off just by taking an extra dash back. And because we can stun this node, we don't need to use those openings from the from retaliating SP1 to do damage. We can just wait till he comes in and block him. So really, it's just playing around with his shield and what he decides to do after the auto block hits. So sometimes you'll see me throw 3 hits. Sometimes you'll see me realize that 2 hits triggered it, and I'll just back off. You're gonna see me build dark energy here. I'm gonna get just shy of 10, and just hold on to those. And then whatever light energy I have when SP3 is ready, that's the light energy I'm gonna take. And if we do have light energy, I'm gonna make sure that I push him to SP1 before we throw it, and bait out that SP1 and then throw it. So that we don't have to worry about Modok reversing our heal. So we missed out on some light charges there. We weren't at SP3. He's being very stubborn here. I'm trying to bait out this SP1. There we are with 8 light, 7 dark. So we're going to get some bonus damage from the dark energy, and we're going to get some healing back from the light. So there's the bonus damage. There's the healing. And he can't auto block SP3. So that's why I'm deciding to go with the SP3. That, and it's going to help me avoid using too many potions after this fight before taking Mojo, without having to wait for my boost to fall off. You can see I'm over 10 light energy there, just chose not to convert it. We're not in the moment of where I'm going to need to use SP3, so I'm not actually focused on my light charges there. I accidentally got hit there. It's okay, our health is doing great. Modok is just going down, tick, 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 tick. Baiting out this SP1. You'll notice that I kind of avoided him after using my SB3. I don't want that rise to power to create back-to-back SB1s from taking blocked hits. Here we go with the second one. And this should just KO him, so light and dark energy didn't matter here. It's just gonna knock him out, and we're not gonna get any health back or do any extra damage, so. Probably my cleanest Modok on Spite Fight. I know everyone's putting him there just so that he can bug out Quake because his low sweep is kind of whiffing her from time to time. So moving on to Mangog here on AoE and kinetic transference. This is why I had the Mystic boosts on so that I didn't have to remember to put them on after fighting with Mr. Negative. I mean, goal here is really simple. It's just get to SP2, use it, only do 4-hit combos so that we don't build up his hatred. Not that it would be a worry since he's power locked and he's gonna stay at 0 power. He'd have to use a special attack to trigger the unstoppable. And if he has no special attack to use, then he's never gonna trigger the unstoppable. So you could technically do 5-hit combos. The only reason I'm not is because Magic's power lock has been known to fail from time to time. And if that happens, I don't want him to have all that rage or that hatred to where he could get to SP2 and use it and then go unstoppable. So 4-hit combo, backing up, parry, 4-hit combo, backing up, parry, 4-hit combo. We have SP2, use it, back up, set up a parry. There's no need to backdraft here. You can tell I'm not taking very much damage at all. It is a very slow fight. It is a very easy fight. You can do this for the mini boss that's AoE as well. It's a very safe fight. The only reason this was probably not an option in the past and that you needed to backdraft was because Protect would get triggered every SP2 and you'd have to intercept to remove it. So the lack of that global or any global has just made this fight even easier, and down he goes. So not a hard fight at all. Magic still a badass at a 5-star, even though she doesn't have a 6-star release. Moving on to this lopsided fight. This is probably my worst Mojo fight on Node 47, but it's okay because even when you try to die with Mr. Negative in a lopsided fight, he won't die. So I decided not to gray boost here because I've been pretty comfortable with this fight. As I've said before, I'm not going to parry heavy. Don't want that Fury to get eaten up. A gray boost actually survived. I was not prepared for that. And the reason this ended up being my worst Mojo fight on this node is because the others were pretty good, and this one I couldn't, for some reason, outrange his SB1 consistently. I guess the timing on my decks, I'm just backing up too early. And you're going to see me throw SB2s with less than 10 dark energy, which isn't a big deal at all. He's just going to tick down. And that one Petrify is negative 80%. So we are doing a lot to prevent power gain with that node, or with that debuff. But you can see that was an SB2 without 10 dark energy, and he's pretty much dead. And there's the second SB1 I got hit by. And I just decided to throw this SB2 out of spite to end him. So easy war for me. There were just a few placements that kind of made my team picked for me. Our BG ended up beating their BG by not dying, so we got the donut to their 1. And we actually beat KenOB 6-4. So it was a good bounce back from last war. I have no idea how we beat KenOB but lost to Mr. Black's Alliance. That's New Nation sometimes. But it seems that the battle group changes helped. I didn't mention it in the beginning, but I'm in battle group 2 now instead of battle group 1. So we made some changes to kind of even things out, and looks like it worked out. So thanks for stopping by. Keep your eyes out for the next one.